So nearby, Brad and Nisha. Have you watched the film Armageddon?
No.
Yes.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one. Armageddon is the quintessential Michael Bay film, in that it's shit and everything explodes. Like, literally everything, doesn't it? It's like the entire world's going to explode at one point.
I didn't realise it was a Michael Bay film.
How do you not realise it's a film about the world exploding?
But the world doesn't explode.
You know what a meteorite does?
But yeah, it does.
And Bruce Willis does.
Bruce Willis does explode. Spoilers.
Is it really a spoiler? That's the thing. How many films has Bruce Willis been in where it's like his death is a huge spoiler? So there's that, and then there's Sixth Sense.
So 2.
Yeah, but it's like that quote, isn't it? Of like, if I had a nickel for every time this had happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Widely considered one of the most unrealistic films ever made, to the point where NASA will have its own interns go through it to point out all the logical and factual inaccuracies. Something that Ben Affleck actually pointed out on set, only for Michael Bay to tell him to shut the fuck up. And Nisha, you've not seen Armageddon?
Nope.
Brad, you have?
I've seen it.
Yeah. Would you like to explain the plot of Armageddon to Nisha so she can just have like an idea of why it's considered one of the most unrealistic films ever made?
Big Rock is about to smash into Earth. Mm-hmm. Instead of sending astronauts, they send drillers, or like oil drillers,
Yeah.
to plant bombs to blow up the rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes. And
things explode.
well, of course, yeah, it's a Michael Bay film. It's like that bit in it, is it Cage on Cage? Like, you know, the descriptor of a Michael Bay film, it's terrible and everything explodes. I think, like, you know, that the Andy Samberg quote about Nick Cage films, where like Ghost Rider's the perfect Nick Cage film. Everything's on fire and every other line is whispered or screamed.
I'm assuming you've seen the epic rap battle that ends with... You've not seen it?
No.
There's one where they do directors and like they're competing for like, you know, who's the best director. Mm-hmm. And at the end, Michael Bay just comes in a helicopter and explosions screaming about money. It's like, I make a lot of motherfucking money!
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I low-key have big respect for Michael Bay. Because, yeah, his films aren't great, but he makes films that he likes. And if you actually watch films that he has, like, complete creative control over, they are an absolute mess. But he does have a very distinct style. Like, Pain and Gain, that's a Michael Bay film. I remember watching that, not knowing it was a Michael Bay film. Like, this film was fucking crazy. So that's the one like The Rock and like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I remember watching it, but I can't actually remember the film.
So
it's obviously not made an impression on me.
It's about a bunch of bodybuilders who commit a bunch of crimes. And it's, oh God, what's it? Falcon. Who plays the Falcon?
Sam Wills.
Anthony Mackie.
That's the name of the Falcon.
Yes.
Anthony Mackie.
It's Anthony Mackie, Mark Wahlberg, I think, and The Rock as bodybuilders, and like Rebel Wilson's in it, and she sleeps with Anthony Mackie while using nunchucks, and he's like, I'm gonna rock your world, ninja style. And like, it goes absolutely, I remember watching it with a bunch of mates, and I'm like, the fuck is going on with this film? And then it comes up directed by Michael Bay, and we all went, oh, okay, it makes sense now. And the fact that he can do that about his movies is kind of amazing.
I'm gonna rock your world. Ninja style.
I told you we'd fix it, the magic finger shop.
And in that vein, do you have a favourite Michael Bay-ism?
I like the sweeping camera. The one that's in Bad Boys. Where
Yeah.
The low camera that rotates around people as they like look tense and react.
It's like, shit just got real. I think for me, it's the fact that he always puts like Lamborghinis and stuff into his movies. And have you ever heard the thing about Bad Boys where like they use like Michael Bay's own Lamborghini, or I forget which one it's like the Ferrari or his Lamborghini or something like that. Like, he always puts really fast cars in movies and it's always his.
You see that? They doing cars. How am I not see that? Ain't like I'm just trying to help. Okay? You know what'd be real fucking helpful, Marcus? Just shut the fuck up and let me drive. Let's try that.
Like, do you know the bit in like The Rock? I think that's a Michael Bay movie, like Nick Cage and Sean Connery.
Great film.
Yeah, that's Michael Bay's Lamborghini, I think, as well.
It's called The Rock, but it's not got The Rock in it.
Yeah, well then he made Pain Again, which does have The Rock in it.
Jesus made salt, but cocaine is king.
I can't do Michael Caine.
Is it Michael Caine or my cocaine?
Michael Caine. I can't do a Michael Caine accent. No, I don't think that's him. But do you know my favourite Michael Bay project? Got Milk. Do you know he directed that? do you know the original Got Milk advert? That's Michael Bay.
Oh, wow.
Because he cut his teeth in advertising.
Nope, no idea.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and there's like a really awkward like TMZ interview where they ask him about it, and he's like, yeah. He has nothing to say about it, just a gig, and he's like, you did Got Milk, didn't you? And it's like, yeah. It was like 25 years ago, I did Transformers as well. Do you not want to talk about that instead?
When people recognised you in public, you're like, you're from Fact Fiend, like, yeah.
I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Got milk?
But like, to bring it back to Armageddon, like as I mentioned in the intro, NASA literally has its interns go through the movie with a fine-tooth comb to point out everything that's inaccurate about it. No, that's a real thing, and I have the number here. There are apparently 168 things that occur in the film that are literally impossible, and there are countless other things that are highly improbable, such as Bruce Willis's hairline. Have you seen Bruce? And I feel bad picking on Bruce Willis in this, but
I was gonna make that joke.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, I've never seen an actor who looks good bald, but is so weirdly committed to convince people they have hair.
The United States government has just asked us to save the world.
We're talking about space, right? Outer space?
I remember we talked about Hudson Hawk, Brad? Yeah. Where there is a long-standing rumor that Bruce Willis raised the budget by $10 million because he insisted that they CGI his hairline.
Well, we're talking about spending pointless amounts of money on something stupid. Mm-hmm. So I've recently recorded a video with Nisha about John Wick.
Yes.
There's a scene in John Wick where they had to CGI a dog shit coming out of a dog or being left by a dog because they wouldn't let them give the dog laxatives. And it's cost $6,000 to put a dog shit into the scene.
Yeah, well, it's expensive shit.
It was, yeah. Well, thinking John Wick, do you know that scene in John Wick 2 where it's the fight in the mirror hallway?
Yeah.
Do you know what they did for that? Because you think, that must be really difficult. How do they hide the camera? They didn't. They just told the choreographer, we can't hide the camera for this, so just do whatever you want and we'll CGI it out. Because they were like, we don't want to not get the coolest shots for this action scene, so fuck it. We know it's going to be impossible to hide the camera anyway, just do it and we'll CGI it out.
That's a lot of rotoscoping.
Yeah.
Frame by frame, we've been there.
Well, yeah, so bring it back though to Armageddon, I say it's wildly inaccurate to the point where NASA themselves, they treat it as a running gag with interns, sit them down, point out everything inaccurate in this movie. And there's apparently one scene in the movie where 50 things that are impossible happen in the space of 5 minutes.
So I thought you were going to be talking about the incredulity of sending up a bunch of oil drillers instead of trained astronauts.
Well, yeah, that's.
But you talk about the science.
Well, the science is one thing, yeah, but you hit the nail on the head there, Brad. Just the plot itself is ridiculous, and that's what the aforementioned Ben Affleck had an issue with, because there is an amazing story from behind the scenes of Armageddon where Ben Affleck, when he actually read the script, signed on. He was sitting down, and they were filming a scene where they bring the oil drillers in.
Yeah.
And he turned to Michael Bay and he asked him, Michael, I just don't get this. What don't you get, Ben? NASA is going to train oil drillers to become astronauts instead of training astronauts to become oil drillers. That doesn't make sense. And Michael Bay turned to him and went, I hear you, but shut the fuck up. And that was the conversation.
His exact words were,
his exact words were, Ben, shut the fuck up.
Why it was easier to train oil drillers to become astronauts than it was to train astronauts to become oil drillers, and he told me to shut the fuck up. So that was the end of that talk. He was like, Ben, just shut up, okay? This is a real plan, all right? I was like, you mean it's a real plan at NASA to train oil drillers? He was like, just shut your mouth.
Ben Affleck did not let it go, and apparently he kept just being incredulous that they were this was the plot. So the more they film, the more it's are we really doing this? He was baffled. For example, there's a scene in the movie where Bruce Willis's character is reaming out some NASA engineers because they're not doing a drill right. It's they build spaceships. So I was like, these guys build spaceships. Are you really telling me they wouldn't be able to build a drill?
See, here's where we demonstrate that, because Bruce is going to tell the guys that they did a bad job of building the drill tank. He did a piss. See, he's a salt-of-the-earth guy. And the NASA nerdonauts don't understand his salt-of-the-earth ways, his rough and tumble ways.
And it's again, shut the fuck up. It's just...
Yeah, getting Bruce Willis's character to train the astronauts.
Again, yeah, that's the thing. It's not even that. Yeah, then they had to train astronauts to become like. And we've talked before, haven't we, about how much astronauts train, and the idea that an astronaut wouldn't be able to pick up on, like, you know, the intricacies of drilling a hole. It's like, maybe that's not their particular area of expertise, but I imagine someone who has the ability to, like, you know, pilot a spaceship could probably figure that shit out.
Also, like, Bruce Willis's character didn't build the drills, did he?
I don't think so, no.
So it is like, I mean, obviously I don't want to make anyone who doesn't like that kind of work.
Of course, yeah, it's tough work. It's difficult.
Don't you just press a button and it does the drilling?
But it's that thing as well, isn't it? Like, what are the two generic, like, you know, smart person jobs? Rocket scientist and brain surgeon.
I was going to say rocket scientist and oil driller.
That's the thing. People don't say, well, it's not oil drilling, do they? I have no, well, you know, I'm under no illusion. I imagine that is a very difficult job. But people don't say that, do they? They say, it's not rocket science, because rocket science is, like, you know, the most complicated thing people can think of, and that's what Ben Affleck was really confused by. And he spent almost all of his time on set just Martin Freeman in it. You're just like... And that's the thing, I point out as much as I can, because when that was pointed out to me, it ruined every movie he's in. Like, I can't watch those Hobbit movies. Because, like, when someone pointed out to me, like, Martin Freeman spends 90% of the film going...
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
An adventure?
Everett Ross, former Air Force pilot and now CIA.
Right. Okay, is this Wakanda?
Like, go watch it. Like, go back.
Confused sad face.
No, it was just he furrows his brow and just looks like this. Goes.
It's like Joey's smell the fart acting, isn't it?
But yeah, but the thing is, it's almost the entire film. Martin Freeman's face is just.
Oh god.
That's all. And it really threw me off when I saw. Do you know the thing like? Is it like Kristen Stewart, like biting the lip thing?
Yeah.
I know there's like actor quirks that when they get pointed out, you can't unnotice them.
She just stares with like a mouth slightly open.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
bites like a top lip, and it's like just actors have those. We all have those quirks. I'm presuming I've got a bunch of them, and like when they're pointed out, people will notice them. But it's just I've noticed that about Martin Freeman when it's pointed out. It's like I can't want to see it now. It's just...
Well, do you remember when Adam edited one Fat Fiend video as a joke, and he kept zooming in on you clapping your hands together?
Oh yeah, just to draw myself into the frame. Yeah.
Don't they use NASA in the film? Aren't they the ones who do the rocket stuff?
Yeah, and they actually use the logo as well. Something people maybe not aware of is that if you want to use something like, you know, the NASA logo or anything involving the American government or military, you, for the most part, have to get the American military to sign off on it. And NASA is no different. And NASA actually made a point of insisting that Michael Bay put a disclaimer at the end of the film saying that while NASA appeared in the film, they did not endorse anything that appeared within it. And to my knowledge, that's the only time they've ever done that. Like, they specifically said, we'll appear in the film, give us a logo, but you have to put a disclaimer at the end saying, we don't think anything that has happened in this film was at all possible. We, like, in the strongest possible terms, say this is fucking bullshit.
Why it was easier to train oil drillers to become astronauts than it was to train astronauts to become oil drillers, and he told me to shut the fuck up. So that was the end of that talk. He was like, you know, Ben, just shut up, okay? You know, this is a real plan, all right?
Well, it does make them look terrible at their job when Bruce Willis walks in and reams them out for doing things wrong.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, Ben Affleck had NASA's back, and I said, he was like, wait mate, they're going to train oil drillers to be astronauts, not astronauts to be oil drillers, and what did Michael Bay say?
Shut the fuck up.
Yep. That one. He says, shut the fuck up.
I was going to say, go fuck yourself.
But Ben Affleck did not let it go, and he kept pressing Michael Bay for an answer. It's like, but I don't get it. Like, it took a week to train, you know, oil drillers to go to space. Like, surely in that week you could train the astronauts to do the oil drilling, right? And just, you want to guess what Michael Bay said?
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. And that was it. And Ben Affleck, just after that point, went, you know what? I'm just going to get my paycheck and go home. And that I respect.
Like 8 whole months, as if that's not enough time to learn how to drill a hole. But in a week, we're gonna learn how to be astronauts. 1 whole week? Now you know how to fly into space? I need my guys. Why do you need them? They're the best. Everyone's the best. Why are they the best? I don't know. They just are.
So I should mention that today's video is sponsored by me.
I love it when you do that.
Well, honestly, what else would I say? Is it? Because I remember I did this once and I said it's sponsored by me, and someone sent me a very lengthy email. So I thought, it's a joke, isn't it? It's something that I do, and I want to talk. I was like, well, you should put the disclaimer on saying that it's sponsored, because otherwise that's really unethical. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, with that logic, everyone who says, can you like, comment, and subscribe would need to list their video as having a paid promotion because they're promoting themselves.
No, it's because it's people like that. It's like I said the word sponsored, and they are unable to understand the concept of nuance or a joke.
So, what is it you're working on, Karl?
Thank you, Nisha. Completely unprompted as well, you said that. No, I am hosting a Mortal Kombat 11 tournament later this month, or next month, depending on when this video goes out, with a fellow content creator called Rips. And if you would like to join the Mortal Kombat 11 tournament, you can find a link to it below. And I've already mentioned this in a previous video, but something I didn't mention is that I'm willing to sponsor a couple of people. So if there's anyone out there who plays Mortal Kombat 11 as a fan of the channel and would like to rep the Big Wangs Inc. brand, you can contact me at social media at the links below, and we can discuss that and figure it out. But the prize pool, I think, for top place is close to $1,000 right now. So if you're good enough at Mortal Kombat 11, you could potentially walk away with $1,000. At the very least, it'd be fun.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is Arena is Free going to be there?
I'm not sure, but I'm entering, and I've been practicing. And I asked this, I asked Rips, like, is it ethical for me to join a tournament that I'm hosting? He went, you're not going to win. He just straight up said, you're not going to win. And he said, if you do win, you deserve the money. It's like, fair enough.
Yeah, I've seen you play games. You're not going to win.
Yeah, so that's the thing as well. If you want to kick my ass at Mortal Kombat 11 live on stream, you can do so by joining, and the link's below. It's free to join. It's free to watch, and just I'm trying to promote it as much as I can because it's going to be a whole bunch of fun. And I'm hoping that it turns into a whole thing. Then I can do this more, put more money into it, get more sponsors, and get my ass kicked more on stream. Right. With that out of the way, what's your favourite unrealistic film, Brad?
Sing 'em.
Sing 'em, sing 'em. Do you know Sing 'em is a remake of a film called Sing 'em that came out 2 years earlier? Because something I found out about, people don't know, Sing 'em is a Bollywood action film. With India having so many different official languages, because the country's so massive, they remake films sometimes in the same year they come out, just in the other language. And sometimes they have the same actors in the film because some of the actors speak multiple languages. And Sing 'em is one of those movies.
See, the most pointless remake I can think of is that Psycho one.
Oh, it's just a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah. Do you know about this? So the movie Psycho with Norman Bates, it was a Hitchcock film. Who's the actor? Anthony...
something or other. It's been a while since I watched it.
Perkins? But yeah, it was a good film. It had a few sequels, but for some reason they didn't want to colorize it, but they thought people wouldn't watch it again because it wasn't in color. So they remade it with Vince Vaughn, comedy actor Vince Vaughn, in one of his earlier roles, playing the Psycho in the film. I mean, I guess that's the spoiler, but never mind. Yeah. It's fucking ancient. And all they did was shot for shot, dialogue identical.
Yeah, literally shot for shot. Yeah. No deviation whatsoever.
And obviously, because Vince Vaughn wasn't as good in the role as, I think it's Anthony Perkins, it was just shitter. All it had was colour and different people. Absolutely pointless.
Of all people, I don't think Vince Vaughn would be the best choice for it.
Well, it was early in his career. He wasn't.
Yeah.
Was he not known as the comedic actor at that point?
No, I wasn't.
I can't imagine him now.
Yeah. It's just such a weird thing to do though, because a film we talked about on the channel before is Disturbia, which is a remake of Rear Window. And I think that's a really good remake. Rear Window's the Hitchcock film. It's the guy looking at it.
Oh no! That sinister-looking kid is coming to kill me! Help! Help! Help!
Disturbia is Sheila Booth, isn't it?
Yeah, Sheila Booth. There's one way his world turns skeleton. Yeah. I think, it's a pretty good film. It's a good. It modernises that idea, but it keeps the core concept the same. It just modernises it with stuff people today would recognise.
I love that phrase though. World turns to skeleton.
Well, it does. It does. That's the thing. It does. It's just skeleton happens.
think as you're saying this, you need to slowly zoom in on Bonley in the corner.
Oh yeah, Bonley.
So everyone else's world will turn to he's going.
It's fine. It's
going.
fine. And in a different vein, Nisha, do you have like a favourite movie where something blows up? We're talking about Michael Bay, stuff blows up. Because it's just his thing, isn't it?
It just makes me laugh about most films when there is a big explosion. The person who did it is just not looking at it. That is the cliche.
Guys, don't look at
Because we watched recently. You watched the whole of Breaking Bad and then El Camino, and there's one where Jesse in the film blows up, kills it, all these people who robbed his half the money.
Yeah, he goes.
And he just sits in the car and you're just waiting because I forgot what he does now.
He does. I'll put the clip in.
Yeah, he
breaks bad.
No, but he I forgot what they're called now. The blowtorch thing. I don't know. You can cut this bit out.
I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, there's a bit where he's basically setting it off and he's just sat in his car, not looking at the building. It's just he's just I'm badass.
I think Breaking Bad's done that multiple times. They do it in Better Call Saul with Gus, where he blows up his chicken restaurant with a chicken. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but something I really like is when you go to the comment sections, and this is a weird pull, but of clips from stuff like Breaking Bad. And it'll do you know the ones Gus just being the manager? You'll go to the comments and say, oh, he's a nice man, I hope he doesn't get half his face blown up in a retirement home. I don't know why it makes me laugh. I watched it was to get a clip for a video, I was getting a Sons of Anarchy. And it's them just rolling up on their motorcycles like badasses, and just the top comment is you can tell they're criminals because they didn't come to a full and complete stop at the stop sign. I don't know why it cracked me up so much.
But yeah, mentioning that scene with Gus as well, that is probably one of the top tier ones from Breaking Bad. Because you think how the hell's he survived that, and the camera pans and he's just half his face, so you're oh shit.
It's the one where he blows it up with a chicken. It's what you don't realise is that because they never use frozen chicken at Los Pollos Hermanos, Gus found it and blew up the restaurant to hide the evidence. Again, I don't know why just people creating these fake versions of fictional reality and then pretending they're true. You're a fan of The Boys, aren't you, Nisha?
Yeah.
Have you ever read the comments on clips of The Boys of people cosplay as if they're in the world of Vought? I'm wow, I love Homelander. I don't believe any of that fake news, and people pretend to be in that world.
Yeah.
But then there's people who don't get it and get angry. It's one of my favourite ones is the Spider-Man suit. I'll never forget it.
I know what's coming.
I was getting the clip of Tobey Maguire at the train scene of just holding the train. Yeah, unlike all those other Spider-Man who need CGI, Tobey Maguire did this for real. #true Spider-Man. And that was a comment. It's not real. It's obviously fake. It's you just don't get it. It's real. #true Spider-Man. Just everyone except for the one guy who just doesn't get it. It's it's not real. You're all idiots. It's you just don't understand. No, Tobey Maguire actually did. He has interviews where he talks about it. Send me a link to those interviews. I do not think he held an entire train.
I implore everyone watching this video to go to clips from Armageddon and talk about how real it is that the drones can go to space.
Don't do that.
Ben Affleck was wrong.
It's just that thing of just #true Spider-Man, 200 comments, and it's one guy responding to everyone. Everyone else gets the joke except that one guy, and it's so good. And I love those moments where just the internet collectively comes together and it's okay, this is it, this is the one. Do you like the Morbius movie where the internet just no one told us what to do. Just the internet just hive mind decided fuck Morbius.
I think my favourite one of those recently where people don't get the joke is that people will reply to bigots on Twitter and say if they're saying something I think one of them was women shouldn't wear tight clothing in gyms.
Yes.
And somebody replied saying, I agree, I think that all women wearing tight clothing are disgusting. Don't send me pictures of you wearing tight clothing to prove your point. And then somebody in the comments would be you're such a bigot. And it's that gif of the joke flying over their head.
Yeah. It's that's the thing of that old internet quote, isn't it? The person who invents a way to showcase sarcasm is going to be a millionaire. Like the first person who's able to, like, you know, like a font that shows sarcasm is going to be a millionaire. So even if you do put, like, you know, the is it /S or the SpongeBob font, which I quite like, of the even then people still don't get sarcasm. And I remember, like, we had that video we talked about, the Friends one, where I talked about, like, you know, Americans don't get sarcasm. You know, speaking generally, which is a thing that you can do. And the amount of Americans, I get sarcasm. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you. I'm sorry. I generalised about Americans because Americans never do that. It's Tuesday, innit?
Zoom in your face, like.
Well, that's the thing. That's one of my favourite things, and like least favourite thing about the internet is you'll make a general statement, and it's something a friend of mine said of, like, the internet can be summed up by the statement of asking a rhetorical question, getting a serious answer. That's the internet in a nutshell. But then again.